And I've got a special guest here with me today, someone who is reviving the UK soul scene and R&B scene and giving it her own special sound. Amethyst is in the studio with me.
Hello.
Okay, so introduce yourself to our listeners who don't know who you are yet.
Okay, so my name is Amethyst. I am a soul, R&B, jazz artist. I've been making music, for like probably nearly 10 years, but only really started releasing like the past 3 and a bit years.
Mm-hmm.
And I just released my latest project, Daydreaming, at the end of last year. So yeah, it's like a lot of influences between like old school soul, 90s R&B, and then like throwing it back to like jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, like that vibe is something I love. So try and mix it all together, really.
Yeah. And you also have just an amazing voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you can sing. You know, I feel like, well, we'll get into this later. I don't want to spill all the beans just yet, but we're going to introduce you to some of Amethyst's music now with Do You. Do You by Amethyst, and this is from her latest EP, Daydreaming, and it's a beautiful body of work. What was your inspiration for this project?
So originally I wrote one of the songs like a good couple years before it came out, and I was feeling very lost and uninspired, and a lot of the songs or the ideas actually came from when I was like on the bus on the way to work, when I used to work in retail.
Okay.
And it was like me literally daydreaming or thinking of scenarios or replaying moments, like whether I was commuting or just at home or whatever. And it was just like all of these thoughts that I was having and then put it into that project. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but daydreaming couldn't be anything, right?
Exactly.
Were you daydreaming of like being in the position you are in now, like making more music, sort of striving towards that?
Partly, yes. I think it was more that I was daydreaming about like what was going on in front of me in the world and scenarios, and like one of the songs, Home, is like heavily inspired by that. But yeah, also like Back in My Groove, that song was me going, I know I can be the person I want to be, and I know I can get there, and daydreaming of like my future self as well, but also that thing of hoping that the music allows listeners to like sit and daydream and take them somewhere else as well. So it's kind of a mixture of my experiences, but hopefully like creating experiences for other people as well. So
I'm a big daydreamer too. Like sometimes I'm like, whoa, where was I?
Yeah, I can just go on and on and on and on. Yeah, it's bad.
But it's good. No, it's good. Is it bad?
I think it depends like how far we go. And I'm an overthinker, so like sometimes I feel like
different though.
Yeah, the daydreaming can turn into overthinking.
Yeah. That's different. Yeah. Daydreaming to me is a like pleasant experience where your head's just like life.
Exactly.
Overthinking is the trenches.
Yeah.
Let's not compare the two.
Yeah. Don't get them mixed up.
So how do you think your sound's changed since your last EP, Get Comfortable, which you released in 2022 for our listeners, just so they know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think there's still definitely elements of that version of me, 100%, but it was me just finding more of my sound and myself and through more experiences in life, absolutely, but more I'd moved to London after I released that or just before I released that first EP. So those experiences were like me kind of growing up in the little city that I grew up in, and like obviously had things going on, but I feel like this was like me really connecting with music and actually understanding who I am, where I wanted to go. Definitely more of a soulful vibe and leaning more into the jazz. I think Get Comfortable is definitely more R&B pop leaning, that first project, and I love that. I think I was just really like getting to understand myself, and I had to like dig deep, and that came out in more rich, like more instrumental, like heavy songs, and like the strings and everything that's in there as well. So yeah, I just wanted to like make the use of great instrumentalists that I knew as well, and like it to not always be fully like produced and have that kind of the two worlds together, like studio stuff and live stuff. So
you can hear it, especially like with the strings. It's a special situation because you don't get that in that many songs.
No, not anymore. Like I think I loved, for example, like Alicia Keys is a big inspiration to me, and like for me, and I think that inspired part of this project. But just it's not something that we get access to easily.
Yeah,
and it's expensive as well, and it's to be able to have that was a great privilege, and like I'm so lucky to have been able to have the funding to be able to do that. And yeah, it just took the songs to another level for me.
How do you go about finding people? You said you have some friends who are instrumentalists, but do you also reach out to other people? How do you make those connections, and how is the process of working together?
So most of the people that play for me are guys that I met at my uni because I studied music, but with the strings, actually I think I must have put out like an ad on Instagram, or I messaged like a few people who I knew had strings on their project, like who did you use, who would you recommend, and I got put in touch with this guy called Jed, who's lovely, and he's so nice, and he just layered down all of these parts. And it was beautiful. Like, he was so easy to work with, and it was the first time that I'd really got to engineer my own stuff. Like, I was just sat in there recording him like by myself, no one else, and I was like, this is a real moment and like of development for myself. And yeah, he just was so good at like taking direction, but also I was like, have your moment as well, because for me it's collaboration. It's not like, I'm not going to tell you to do everything. If you feel something, let's try it out, let's see how it goes. And that's how I feel with everyone who is a part of that project, whether it's singers, instrumentalists, producers, trying to like let everyone have their moment and do their thing. So yeah, I've been very lucky to work with some very, very talented people, and it's been a real pleasure.
How was the process of sort of producing that by yourself? If you say it's the first time, how is that experience different to just being in front of the mic, so to say?
Yeah, it was scary. I think obviously all of the tracks I still collaborated with other producers on, so some of them I would engineer the vocals myself, or I had like all my friends come over and do BVs, and that was just me recording everyone, and then I'd go to the producer and we'd build on that, or the same with the strings. But some of the songs I started myself as like these really rough produced demos, but I just knew that I wanted to tap into that more and still want to push myself to become more of a producer and not be scared of saying, no, I am a producer, not just a writer, not just a singer. And I'm not there yet, but I'm learning a lot, and obviously it helps working with great people. But yeah, I think for me, all the songs kind of came together differently, but I think what I actually enjoyed the most was where it was when I had the idea, recorded this little rough demo. I just sit in my bedroom, have this like beat that I've created, and then the lyrics, the melody, whatever just flows out, and then go, okay, I really like this. Let me take it to one of my friends or whoever, and let's build on that. That's when some of my like favorite songs on the project were born. So
for your process, you hear the beat first and then the lyrics come, or is it?
I write a lot of lyrics down day to day, on just like on my notes, and I'll record little voice notes here and there. Sometimes I will try and build on those ideas first, but it's like chords and bass for me. That's all I need to get the ball rolling. Like, as long as I'm grooving with the chords or the bass line or whatever, then that helps me like know the direction of the song and where I want to go. So yeah, I think I like to work in that way, and then I can just let a melody flow out, go over that and over that, and then I might go away. Like, some of the songs, I think I'd got all the melody down, but I was just like, I don't know about the lyrics, let me go away, sit down, and then I'd write it all down and then record like a rough version and come back, and then we'd properly record it. So but yeah, I think I like to have at least the chords or some kind of groove there for me to then vibe to. And I think I'm trying to lean more into like, I want to be the one who's actually laying down the chords. Like, I want to try and get to that point where I'm the one who's actually playing what I want to hear, if that makes sense.
Because then I guess it's also easier to go to the next step if it's coming from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's interesting, because a lot of people, like, everyone's process is so different. That's why I'm always curious to hear, like, do some people start with the lyrics first, some people start with melody, and so it's always cool to hear.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna play another song called Say. Say by Amethyst, and you're listening to Moresha on Hoxton Radio. And where do you think UK R&B and soul is at right now?
It's an interesting one. I actually think you kind of have to split R&B and soul a little bit, because I feel like UK R&B is definitely having a moment and is on the come up, and so is UK soul. But I think it's slightly still a little bit more underground, or like if it is soul, it's leaning more into like soul pop still.
Yeah, I agree.
Which isn't a bad thing if it's getting the recognition it deserves, and absolutely. But yeah, I think there are some really, really great artists that are coming up, and it is starting to have the resurgence that it needs. But yeah, I still think there's a lot of like work that needs to be done, and like people's minds that need changing, and all of that. But yeah, I think there's some really, really talented people out there that are doing some great stuff. And I mean, even like people like K1 and Sasha Keyboard and all of that, like
definitely.
that's, and how that's translating to success in the States as well. And it's amazing. So yeah, I just hope that it keeps growing. I just hope that the people get the moment, you know?
Yeah, I agree, because the UK was never known for R&B. I think it's just in the last like 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
3-4 years that like, and now it's a big scene.
Yeah.
And it's international.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is amazing. I do agree that soul is still sort of on the back burner, but it's also sizzling.
Yeah, 100%,
I definitely like
100%.
with artists like yourself.
Thank you.
And like Sasha Keeble, I think is also in that realm.
Yeah, 100%.
She's sort of, I think she's more soul than R&B, like a good mix, but sort of more so. So I think she's sort of leading that way at the moment.
Absolutely.
I don't know who else would be there with her, like on that level. Like she's up and coming, but sort of more up.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, you've got people like Elmine and Nia Smith, like they're doing quite well. I guess though they're still not in the level of like virality that Sasha's
Elmine
having.
Maybe is,
to
be fair.
Yeah. Or people like Flo as well, but then that's more
R&B.
R&B. So
right?
It's very interesting, but it's definitely it's bubbling. Like things are happening. So yeah.
In your ideal world, where would you want UK soul to be?
Oh God, I'd want it to be number ones, chart like up there. Having like its own space in this scene, and I think like we're seeing that even like with the Brit Awards and that whole thing about how they're separating the awards, but then they were joining them back with pop, and it's all a bit like
a bit messy, these categories nowadays. Yeah.
I think really having that space for R&B, soul music, and I think something for me that I miss, and I think this is with a lot of genres anyway, but more collaborations and like live performances of soul artists that are getting their moment on TV to get to that audience. Like you've got Jules Holland, and he's amazing, and the absolute dream to do that, and the work that he does to showcase emerging artists is incredible. But I think more of that, and rather than everyone kind of fighting for themselves and being like, I need to make it to the top, like everyone come together, and I think that would really help boost that scene a bit more. So yeah, I think it would be great to see how artists like Leon Thomas or Victoria Monet, all of that, the success and the love that they get in the States, just for that to kind of shine through a bit more in the UK would be great.
But I feel like collaboration is also something that's sort of coming more now.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting one, because I think it depends on like what level artists are at, and I think there's like certain people who are about to like get to the next step, and then it's like, they might want to collab with someone who's a little bit above them or whatever. But I definitely do think it's happening, like for sure, and I think I found that, and there's some amazing people I've been lucky to work with, or who said they want to work, and I'm like, that's great. Like I could never imagine that happening, and now it's coming to fruition. Is amazing. But yeah, I think like people like Ezra Collective are great at that.
They are. They bring anyone on. Everyone's talented, they bring on, but it always makes sense, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And I think just a bit more of that, like, I mean, Jungle were quite good at doing that, and I know like Disclosure were great at doing that back in the day. But yeah, I think more of those like bigger artists going, we love this artist that's like coming. Why don't you come and feature on this and this? Or let's do like a group thing together.
Yeah, fair enough. Like there's not that collaboration. Like it's always people on the same level are collaborating with people on the same level instead of mixing and matching a bit more. Yeah, that's true. And I feel like smaller artists probably need bigger artists to reach out to them for them to also get up to that next level. Probably it's not a necessity, but it would make life a bit easier.
Exactly. And I think it's obviously that's a tricky thing to like navigate, especially if you're a bigger artist and like they're thinking, well, I want to make the next step up, and I get that.
Of course.
But yeah, I think there could just be more community. I think like, I feel like at this stage, I feel like the community is there because I think when everyone's really hustling,
of course,
it's like, like, let's help each other out. Let's do this. Do you want to do BVs? Do you want to be on my track? Absolutely. I think it's just be nice to see a bit more of that, I guess, the further up. But yeah, everyone's got their own like ideas of what they want to do. So
of course. That's interesting though, and I it would be nice to see that more. But I also feel like maybe that's also happening more in the scene now. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's changed a lot for sure in terms of like collaboration. I think even we're seeing more like crossover genres as people collaborating, which I think is quite nice as well. Because if you are a pop artist or an indie artist and you've got a wider reach and you're letting that person work with you, it's going to benefit them massively. So I think things are 100% changing, which is nice.
And I also feel like genres are just more like melting together more anyway.
100%.
Like it's so hard to distinguish between genres sometimes nowadays. Yep. Which is like, I quite enjoy it. But then some people are angry, like, that's not R&B, that's pop. And I'm like, it sort of is, but you know, things can fit into more boxes than one. But I think we as a society, we love to just box everything like this has to be this. Like, but it isn't really. But I guess it just makes life easier if you can just, you know, put things where you think they need to be.
Yeah, I get that. Like, people want to hear one specific genre. Let me like, if I can search it and that's what it is, I get it. But even myself, like, I struggle sometimes. I want to do something that's more neo soul or pop, and it's like, who am I? Like, how do I describe myself to someone? Oh, I'm just R&B, or I'm just soul. I'm like, no, there's so much that influences me. So it's an interesting one.
But I think it's probably what people do more so is the artist is, let's say, R&B, and no matter what music she puts out, it's going to be R&B, even if it's the pop. It's like Doja Cat. Like, I feel like she's the perfect example for that. She does everything. She does pop, she does rap, she does R&B, but she's an R&B artist in like the world's eyes. Which a lot of people are always complaining about at the award shows, right?
100%.
So I think you'd have to sort of, I don't even know. I don't even think it's a thing about defining yourself. It's just how the world defines you at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's more like the industry and like having more, I guess, avenues, or being like, let's actually hear what the artist has to say about themselves first before we categorize them. Because I know that happened with Rachel Chinariri, and she made a tweet about how she's an indie artist, but always just because she's black gets categorized as R&B. And it's like, come on, like, where does it say that on her bio? Anyway, it doesn't. She doesn't talk about that whatsoever. She doesn't make music like that. So yeah, I think people just have to be a bit more willing to just like listen to how the artist describes themselves and go,
that's very true, and go with that.
Cool. Yeah.
And also, if they want to change, that's also fine.
Exactly, because if people are inspired by different things, and next, you know, they want to make a rock album, like Beyonce's always going to be an R&B artist, right? But apparently this next album is rock, like, but she's allowed to do that.
So. She is allowed to do that. I wish she'd go back to R&B.
Just take it back to the early 2000s, please.
I keep saying it, like, I love Beyonce, but these last two albums, they just don't resonate with me, which is fine. And I guess that's sort of the point, like, showing like I can do everything.
Exactly.
And she can. She's still good at what she does.
Yeah.
But I'm like, please, girl, we need the R&B back.
I know.
Oh God, but good for her.
Yeah.
The show does look good.
Yeah. I mean, she's killing it.
She's always killing it.
She's doing her thing, and I love that for her.
I went to well, I've seen Beyonce live a couple of times, like before Renaissance and Cowboy Carter. But like, when you see a Beyonce show, no other show will ever live up to it.
Honestly, it's
impossible.
Yeah.
I saw Usher the other day, which was amazing. He's a good singer. But I'm like, what is this show?
Really?
There were like three other, like, not three, maybe like 7 other dancers. Then all of a sudden there was a stripper pole. Then he was throwing money. I'm like, Usher, what's going on?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like, there was no coordination.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, where's the structure? But I compare everything to Beyonce, especially if it's in the realm of R&B.
Of course.
I'm like,
yeah, you've got to. I've been trying to live up to her standards is just
it's impossible.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't have that expectation.
Yeah,
even as like me as a viewer, I'm like, I can't compare.
Exactly,
but I do.
I know, it's hard not to.
Up next, we have "Back in My Groove."
Back in my groove. I'm back in my groove.
Back in My Groove by Amethyst on Hoxton Radio, and you're listening to Moresha. And Amethyst is in the studio with me. And this song, I was just saying, this is one of my favorite off the EP, which is called Daydreaming. What do you do to get back in your groove?
Oh man, what do? I think I have to take a time out. I think like if I can feel that I'm like burning out or like I'm just not in the right space, then take time out. I need to have some kind of social life, like get back, hang out with my friends. Take a moment for myself, just kind of like go and do things that I love, like hobbies or just walking around or just like take my mind off like the fact that I'm trying to do this and like if the negative thoughts, which is really, really hard. But yeah, and then I think allow myself to just kind of create when I feel like creating rather than pushing myself to do it because I need to do it or people want me to do it. I think that helps me like get back into that rhythm again. And yeah, just kind of working with people as well that I really enjoy, I think really helps because then they know your vibe anyway. So then it's like easy to kind of like get back into it and they can like sense your energy. So yeah.
What are some hobbies that you have outside of music?
Oh gosh, well, this is a hobby I actually don't get to do anymore, but I really love netball. It's so random, but like I used to play that.
I've never played netball. Okay. I grew up in Germany. It's not a thing in Germany. Which one is net? It's like basketball
without... basketball, you can't bounce the ball.
Okay, it's like handball.
Kind of, yes, but you can run with the ball in handball. You can't run in netball. Like you can run, but not when you're holding the ball. It's so weird. Okay. But yeah.
Oh, okay. You should start up again.
Yeah. Well, me and my friend, we've said like, because the seasons are like September to spring or something. So we were like, September, we're going to go. We're going to do it again. Do it. So yeah, definitely that. TV is such a hobby for me.
Okay, I get that.
I love just like good TV or good film. So like if that's going to the cinema or just binge watching like something, that is like such a comfort thing for me because then I feel like I also get inspired by shows that I watch.
I get that.
But I feel like for me it's really good to just kind of like zen myself out as well if I want to not think about things or if I do. I absolutely love that. Yeah.
What's your comfort show?
Oh my gosh, at the moment I'm watching New Girl again because I just like it's on repeat. I just feel like it's so easy to watch, but I really love this show called Couples Therapy. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I don't think I have.
It's very deep, but it's like this therapist and you literally watch like these couples have therapy and
it's reality.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And like I just love her. She is just the coolest woman ever, and the way she just deals with the scenarios is so good. And like I just think it's super interesting.
I always rewatch the same like 3 shows. It's really bad.
What do you like?
One of my comfort shows is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh,
I watch it every year.
I love that show.
I'm watching it right now for like the 10th time.
It's so good.
And my other comfort show is Avatar and The Last Airbender.
Okay, not seen that.
You should watch it. Okay. It's like, it's not anime, but it's animation.
Yeah, okay.
It's the best thing on earth. Okay. I watch it every year. And then my third one, maybe I only watch 2 things all the time. It's really bad. I heard that apparently you rewatch the same things all the time when you're like stressed because it just gives you comfort because you know what's going to happen. Exactly. I don't feel stressed though.
I don't know.
You probably are.
Like, I just see something easy, you know. Just let me chill.
Yeah, that's like New Girl is probably my Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Other way around, but yeah.
Yeah.
We need that. Sometimes you just need to put on something. You're like,
yeah,
again. Up next, we have Patience. So you've loved music from a young age,
yes.
I heard.
Yes.
When did you realize that being a musician is what you wanted to do?
I think I knew when I was about 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't really fully pursue it or know that I could do it until I was about 16. Like my singing teacher then was like, you know, you can like study it and you can do this and this and this. And I think that just opened my mind up. But when I was 3 or 4, I'd be like singing in the living room to little Disney soundtracks or like Beyonce's album or Alicia Keys' album, Adele's album, whatever. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Like I played other instruments, but singing just like made me so happy in a way that I couldn't explain. And I just, I didn't know about being an artist. I just knew I wanted to sing.
Okay.
And then when I was 16, I was like, yeah, no, this is what I want to do.
So with 16, you started taking it more seriously.
Yeah, that's when I like started having singing lessons. And then, my tutor told me about ACM, where I went to study, went on there. Then that's how I met one of my friends who I started writing with. And then it just kind of flowed. I started doing my first performances like as an artist. And then, it took a long time till I actually released and like was happy with the music that I was making. But I knew then that I wanted to have music out. It was just, how did I get there? And when was I going to be happy with it? Yeah.
What's your music hot take?
I feel like I'm really going to annoy a lot of people.
That's fine.
And it's hard because, like, for me, I wish I could do this as well. But I think we need to get back in the studio with other people and other artists and other instrumentalists and actually, like, create... I don't want to say real music because obviously bedroom music is real music and there's nothing wrong with bedroom music, and I've made some of these songs were with other producers in a bedroom.
Fair.
But I think trying to be completely creative and like, let's just get in a room and like jam with people and create something special. And I find it really interesting how like with indie music or rock music, that's very common and that's how that type of music is made. And it's like, guys, it's like just go down to pirate studios and like jam. Whereas with R&B and soul, it's kind of going in the like heavily produced route, which isn't bad. And I think I love a lot of producers that make music like that, like Timbaland or whatever. But yeah, I think that we could just like try and find like our own sound without like beats or loops or whatever all the time. And again, like, I'm not saying I haven't used that. It's such a thing. It's hard to, when something's easy or when it's cheap, it's like that's the route. But yeah, I think it would be nice to just like get back to everyone being in the studio and like having in just like something so raw and special would be great. So yeah, I think hopefully people understand.
And it goes back to what you said earlier, just collaboration. And I think especially in creative spaces, collaborating is so important. Like, even if I have an idea, my idea might be good, but then I bounce it off someone and they just put a little something. They don't change the idea, but their thought process behind or even feedback as to why it's not good. Like, it just helps hearing other people's perspectives.
And I think it kind of leads on to what we were saying a while ago off the mic, but with TikTok especially and stuff, I think that's made it really easy for that type of music or that kind of like easy produced stuff, bedroom stuff, to like go viral, which is amazing. And it's not to say that those people don't deserve that as well, but I think it's like, we're then seeing that transition into some of those artists who then go and play live. It's a completely different experience because they don't have that collaboration element because all they're doing is them by themselves in their room. And it's like, if everyone kind of just came together and collaborated more or all of that, I think the music could be even better. But it's really hard because even for me, it's like, can I afford to just be like, hey guys, let's rent out a studio and all get together? No, like it's not the same industry that it was 20, 30 years ago. So, yeah. But there is also some incredible, amazing music that's being made that's just in people's bedrooms.
I mean, it doesn't take away that it's good. No. Like, both is good. It's just a different process.
Exactly. So.
And also, like what you said with live shows, I spoke to someone the other day and they had a live show and they were so fascinated with a live band because that's not how they heard it. It was the first time they heard it with a live band. So I'm like, yes, of course it's going to sound different because there are other people involved and they have their own little vibe.
Exactly.
And, you know, everyone brings something else to the table.
Exactly.
So it's a different situation.
Yeah, 100%. It's all, you know, and I think that's what makes music so interesting because it's like there are these different alleys and avenues and stuff that people go down and you hear it in one way and then you hear it in a different way. And that's what makes it great because it's not always the same every time. So, yeah.
Up next, we have Loving is a Crime.
You left me by the phone, baby. Couldn't handle what I said to you.
Welcome back, Toxin Radio. It's your girl Moresha here, and I'm here with Amethyst, and we're going to play a little game now. Okay. It's called Skip, Repeat, Delete, where I play 3 songs, and you need to let me know which one you're skipping, which one you're repeating, and which one you're deleting. And I hope I got your vibe right for this. So we're starting with Snow Allegra with I Want You Around.
It's not that I don't want you.
Like Cleo Soul, Why Don't You?
Wow.
And last but not least, we have Someday by Elmine.
Someday I want to love like the love I had with you.
Now it's up to you. Which one are you skipping? Which one are you repeating? And which one are you deleting?
That is honestly the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
It is tricky. That's the whole point, though.
Okay. Okay. Purely because Snow was the artist that actually inspired my first single.
Okay.
I would have to say it's going to be Repeat because she influenced.
Fair enough. That's a good reason.
Releasing. Yeah. Cleo is a huge influence. So I feel like on that, and I love Elmine, I love him so much, but he is a newer artist, so I feel like he's got even better songs to come. So I'm going to say...
good reasoning.
Delete Elmine. I'm so sorry, I love him. And skip Cleo because there's songs of hers I love even more as well. So, but that was,
Fair. I think I'm complete opposite to you.
Really?
I would repeat Cleo Soul, skip Elmine, and delete Snow. Because I don't feel like... I think she has better songs than this one.
Really?
I think so. Maybe not.
I mean, I feel like maybe the only song is like Situationship. Like I love that song.
Yeah, the song is a banger.
I do. I don't know. I think regardless, it's hard because I feel like maybe Day to Day I might repeat like Elmine more.
Yeah.
But I think Snow is just
Yeah, I mean, and especially because of the role she plays in your career.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't delete her. That would be crazy work.
Yeah, that'd be rude. That'd be rude.
Cool. We're going to play another song called... Which one are we going to play? Boys.
What changed between me and you?
What's one thing you would tell emerging artists to stop doing immediately? And what's one thing you tell them to start doing immediately?
Oh, I think stop doing hesitating. Just if you like something... say you like it, release it, go with it. It doesn't matter. There'll be people that will love it. There will be people that will hate it. Yeah. As long as you care about it, just go for it. And I think to start doing, I just think believing in yourself more. And that's something I'm still learning. Yeah. I think, but not listening to the outsiders, not listening to what anyone else tells you to do. Obviously, there's good advice, 100%. But just follow your gut all the way. And just know that you were doing it for a reason. There's people that clearly want to listen, be part of your journey, whatever. And there's a lot to come. So just, keep believing in yourself, I think.
Nice. So what do you have coming up for this year?
I haven't actually said this yet, but I do have a little something coming out at the end of June.
Exclusive.
A little exclusive, It's just... It's not a new song, just something that's something special. And then I'm just working on some new music at the moment, hoping that there might be something out by the end of the year, new singles. But just collaborating with artists, working with another great artist called Moresha. She's amazing. We hopefully will have something coming out soon, and then just getting some more gigs lined up, get out performing.
Lovely, we love that. And where can people follow you, find you?
So it is at Amethyst Music, so AMETHYST music with 2 C's on everything, and I think on Twitter it's 3 C's for some reason.
We'll find you.
But
we'll find you. Yeah. Cool, thank you for that. Definitely follow Amethyst on all socials and listen to her music because it's amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on the show. And have a lovely weekend.
Thank you for having me.